We are coming live to you from the United Nations Human Rights Council offices here in Pretoria, where Numsa and the United Eswatini Diaspora groups have now handed over their memorandum of demands. They actually are demanding, among others, that the council convene an urgent meeting that will respond to all the violations that are happening in that country. But joining me now on that is the spokesperson for the United Eswatini Diaspora, Kawekazi Khumalo. Kawekazi, if you can just give us a picture of what actually is the latest in Eswatini.
The latest in Eswatini, we know that the situation in Eswatini is very volatile. We know that 2 days ago, another civilian was killed by the military and the government in terms of the police. We know that people are being brutalized for continuing to stand and asking for freedom in their country. So the situation is very volatile. We know that there's a lot of burning of buildings that is currently happening in the country, and the lack of freedom of media in the country has assured us that we're not able to see the developments as we should in Eswatini.
You've also highlighted the reports about an escalation of state-sponsored violence and acts of brutality against the civilians. So meaning there's really no end in sight to this situation.
Yes, there's really no end in sight, and this is why today we are here at the United Nations, because we know the United Nations for the past 10 years has been reporting on violation on human rights and in Eswatini, and therefore the United Nations Human Rights Council should have been the first responders to what has happened in Eswatini. They cannot turn a blind eye and also a deaf ear to what is happening currently. Human rights violations are happening, brutality is happening in Eswatini, and therefore the United Nations Human Rights Commission is also have an obligatory duty to ensure that human rights are protected and to ensure the protection of human rights. And we're saying that no matter how small Eswatini is, we are all part of the human family, and therefore we all deserve the freedom that everyone enjoys.
You've just handed your memorandum of demands to the council. Can you just take us through some of the demands that you've laid in that memorandum?
The demands that we are demanding from the UN Human Rights Council are in the context of their obligation, and we are asking them to take decisive action and execute the mandate. One of the demands we are making is for the UN Council to call an urgent meeting to discuss response to what is happening currently in Eswatini. We are also asking the UN to issue member states, observer states of the council with the notice of what is currently happening, to enable those states to request a special session at the UN Council, a session that will look at providing the Swazi people with interventions. We are saying that the people of Eswatini are calling for democratic reforms, and therefore we are calling for political dialogues and human rights dialogues around how and define how the people of Eswatini should be able to live in a free country. And those are some of the demands we are asking of the UN Council.
Thank you. There was Kawekazi Khumalo, the spokesperson for the United Eswatini Diaspora, highlighting some of the demands that they've made to the council here, saying that over the past weeks, the country has been characterized by state-sponsored acts of brutality and violent attacks against the civilians there. And that's back to the studio.